I have spent the last week driving this Mini Cooper S. This particular version has been given a facelift for 2018 and so far it's an all-round good car, very capable and sensible. But that sort of worries me a little bit as this has grown in size. It's more like a tubby than a Mini. So to find out if it still retains that marketed go-kart handling feel, we have brought it to the Buckmore go-kart track to see what it can do. Okay, so me being me, I thought it would be a good idea to take this Mini Cooper S on a go-kart track to see what it's actually like to drive. No, this isn't the John Cooper Works, however, this is the Cooper S, so it's got the 2-litre turbocharged engine. Bit of a frisky thing. Initial impressions, well, this car has got a few faults, and the first thing I need to kick off with is the steering. Now, you've got various different modes, sport mode, normal mode, eco mode, but anyway, when you knock it into sport mode, the steering becomes artificially heavy. It's almost that Mini are trying too hard to make it feel go-karty, a bit like the original one or the R56. The R56 had a really good steering, however, didn't lack the feedback. This is trying to be the R56 in terms of steering feel, but isn't that great. And to be honest, on the road it's really irritating. The initial turning's inconsistent, the weight's not there. The speed and precision's great. You can spec this with the variable ratio rack. Avoid that because it's a waste of money. It's okay. So the key to it is to knock it back into comfort with the steering. So you go into sport mode and then you put the drivetrain in sport and then everything else, suspension and all the other tricks in comfort mode. And that becomes even nicer. So 6-speed manual gearbox this car's equipped with, engine 2-litre, pretty good low down, nice response, makes a chirpy noise. Nothing too dramatic, it is piping some noise in, but then it is BMW, of course they'll do something like that. 6-speed manual gearbox, gear shift, not that great. It feels long, it doesn't have the sort of precision, and the faster you go, the harder you rack it into gear, the more chances of a mistake you're going to make. Another problem, this car is equipped with these Pirelli P7 Cinturato tyres, which are basically an eco tyre, and yeah, it's not really the most ideal tyre around this track. It's just squealing all over the place. Power delivery, well, coming into this tight right hander, I get onto the throttle. It doesn't have a diff, a limited slip diff. It uses basically the braking on the inside wheel, and yeah, it's not too bad. Brakes, powerful, strong. Pedal feel, okay. I'd give it a solid 6 out of 10. The initial press is a bit soft, but delving a bit deeper, it's not too bad. And round here, where you need to have brakes all the time, you're constantly stopping, it's not too terrible. Around this track I can stay in second gear and I can ride on the torque band, which is great, but the engine doesn't really want to extend beyond 5,000 RPM. It starts to lose a bit of puff. Now, this isn't really a driver's car in a sense. I mean, it does feel nippy and strong, but the likes of the Ford Fiesta ST and other rivals like the Renault Clio 220 does things a little bit more serious. You can go on a track day and have fun. Don't get me wrong, this does feel great. Body control, bit top heavy, but there we are. What this is a piece of jewellery. It's a fashion accessory, and if you put your mindset into that, and people who buy them, it's really good like that. The cabin's nice, it's got really cool bits. For 2018, they've updated the sat-nav system, which is basically familiar BMW iDrive stuff, so it's got touchscreen and all that. Love the baseball interior, which is pretty cool. Another issue I have is the price. This car, with all the options fitted, Harman Kardon, these special 18-inch wheels, comes in at, are you sitting down, 29 and a bit thousand pounds. That's a lot of money. That's £8,000 more than a Fiesta ST. It's the most expensive car in its class, but then you can see why people buy these, because it's a special car in its own right, and people buy the Mini brand because it's an icon. And yeah, the interior is nicely made and it's good, and yeah, it's proper. So around this track, it's impressive. Don't get me wrong, it still has the sort of mini characters. Just make sure you knock the steering back into comfort mode, and then it becomes a bit nice and light. Handbrake's excellent, but unfortunately I'm not going to use it today because I don't want to upset Mini. See, I'm thinking of you guys. Anyway, so overall it's a good little road car. It might not be the most friskiest in its class, but as a road car it's grown up, it's refined, it's well made. You can see why you'd buy one of these. Anyway. Since YouTube isn't paying me enough money, it's time for a commercial break. But bear with me. Roadstar is the app that brings all car fanatics here in one big harmony. Whether you've got a YouTube channel like me, or whether you've got a business, or whether you just want to chat with your friends and meet up, you can set up car meets here. You can also add stuff into your garage and create posts of things you like. You can also go on the map and see where there is a car meet being taken place all over the world. It's free, you can download it from the App Store, and I recommend it quite a bit. If you follow me on the Roadstar app, you'll be able to see earlier videos on the app rather than seeing it on YouTube, plus a few other bits of sideways action. Now, back to the video. So, in the interest of science, we have Chris Biddle, who is a racing driver, and he's going to go around this Buckmore go-kart track and set a lap time. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to hop in the Cooper S Mini and see if I can get anywhere near that time. So, ready, Chris? 3, 2, 1, go! Bit of a slow start, but he's picking up some pace. 4-stroke motor, it's good for about 50, 60 mile an hour coming down the straight. So in most corners he can take everything flat out, whereas I don't think we're going to go that flat out in the Mini. It's 43 seconds so far. $56.92 down there.
What time was it?
56.92.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
No, I've got to try and beat it.
Yeah, see what happens.
See what happens. I'm going to hop in the Mini now. Right then. Not a bad start. Spinning up its wheels, traction controls off, but it's still giving me a little bit of assistance off the line. Turning's great. The key around this track is to not be too silly, not to be a yob. So Sid, don't go sideways, don't go sideways, Sid, don't go sideways. Great thing is I can stay in second gear. Let's nail this apex here. Another criticism is the seats. They look nice, but they don't give you much support. Come down here. I wish this car was running on Pirelli Super Sport tyres, or sorry, Michelin Super Sport tyres. Round there's not too bad. This car's definitely a 6/10 motor. Over there. Over this last final hairpin. Try not to carry too much speed. What did I get? I reckon, I don't think I'll be as quick as the go-kart, but I think I'm almost there. I think initially this is the quicker car off the mark than Chris's go-kart. However, around the corners it is lacking grip. I sort of have to almost stop to get the front end turned in, but it's got quite a bit of grip. So, conclusion then with the Mini Cooper S. No, it isn't as fast as a go-kart, nor is it as nimble as a go-kart. Unfortunately, it has grown a bit fat over the years. However, one thing good about this is it's a far more refined vehicle than the previous generation, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. But overall, it is a special little car. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it isn't quite as sharp as a Fiesta ST or a Clio 220 Trophy. However, it's a little piece of jewellery that people would admire a lot.
Have a look on the video windows on some of the cars tested. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe for more automotive action.